Amen. On this second Sunday after Christmas, our gospel reading takes us away from the hope of Advent and the joy of Christmas Day and into a more dangerous narrative. Gone are the bucolic scenes of shepherds seeking out the manger, of a newborn child taking his first breath, of foreign kings bearing gifts, and of two very relieved and probably exhausted parents watching lovingly over the child. What we see instead is danger. The danger posed by a merciless tyrant who decides, like a typical politician, that he would be in a stronger position if he were to eliminate a potential rival. And there is the danger of a nighttime escape from Bethlehem to Egypt by an infant and his parents. There's a lot packed into our relatively brief gospel reading for today. It starts with the departure of the wise men from their visit to the Christ child and reports a dream in which an angel appears to Joseph. The angel tells Joseph to get the family away to safety in Egypt. Why? Because King Herod has ordered the killing of all the children in and around Bethlehem who are 2 years old or younger in an effort to kill the Christ child. The reading tells us nothing about how long the family stayed in Egypt, where they lived, how they survived. It says only that after Herod's death, the family returns to Galilee. Our faith teaches that in Jesus, God has taken human form, starting, of course, with infancy. Infancy is a time of both fear and hope for parents, an awareness of the vulnerability of the child and of the promise for the future. As they watched over the child like parents through the ages, Mary and Joseph must have wished that they could prevent any bad thing from happening to the child, wanted to hold back all the danger, all the heartache, all the evil that could enter the child's world. Parents forever have dreaded the day when some evil enters their child's world that they cannot keep away. In every newborn child, there is the promise of a future, but also a possibility of danger, illness, or evil. If this had not also been true for Jesus, then he wouldn't have really been one of us. The threat to the infant Jesus's life from Herod must have been terrifying for his family. An escape to Egypt must have been extremely difficult. Imagine traveling with a vulnerable child, a newborn fleeing a king who has ordered mass murder, returning as strangers to a country in which their ancestors had been held in bondage. Danger to Mary and Joseph and Jesus was real. So too were poverty and homelessness. Were they warmly received when they arrived in Egypt? I'm guessing not. When they and other refugees arrived, did their Egyptian neighbors and officials complain about those people who don't speak the language, practice a different religion, don't understand or respect local customs? Was Joseph the carpenter a threat to someone else's livelihood? I have often wondered whether these early life experiences helped shape Jesus's later ministry to people on the margins, those who are set aside or who by illness or race are ostracized. We see him in his later years accepting people warmly from other places, religions, and races. He eats with them laughs with them, and welcomes the outsider. He takes his place not with the elite or the wealthy, but with ordinary people. This is true incarnation. When we find ourselves in the midst of the joy of Christmas, we experience Jesus as a boy, delighting in every new discovery. When we know difficulty, illness, or loss, we experience Jesus as one who knew deep suffering. When we wonder who cares about all the forgotten people, we experience Jesus as an infant whose family was forced to flee an evil regime to survive. This is the radical truth and beauty of Christmas. In our own lives, we face a choice every day. Do we follow the path of love and faith, as did Mary and Joseph, or the path of fear of the other, as was Herod's? Our choice is aided by remembering the entire story of Jesus' infancy and indeed his life. Recognizing and owning the harshness of life, including the life of Jesus the refugee, gives our faith reality, meaning, and purpose. God is with us, even in the darkest times. God is also for us, promising not only to accompany us through difficult times, but also to bring us to the other side. Nothing that happens to Jesus, or by extension to us, is beyond the bonds of God's love and cannot be redeemed. And that is the good news as we begin a new year. Amen.